So I'd like to now move on to our next address. We have a keynote address by Mr. Prakash Bell, who is a Customer Success Head at Check Point, and he will be talking to us about secure remote access with Odoo. So I'll request the audiovisual team to now play out his message.
Remember before all this started when you kept your corporate data closely guarded? On site. Now all your data is everywhere. In homes, in cafes, in parks, in cars. When your employees are working from everywhere, you know what else needs to be? Your cybersecurity. Checkpoint. Secure your everything. Checkpoint.com/new normal.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today for this session. I am Prakash Bell. I am at Checkpoint India, responsible for the security engineering team. Today I'll be talking about a Checkpoint SASE solution that provides secure clientless remote access for your users. The outbreak of the pandemic has forced us to remain isolated and work remotely, impacting every employee across various organizations. COVID-19 has forced businesses to adopt remote working capabilities across their organization while trying to maintain business continuity. Remote work has now become a strategic workforce policy rather than just a tactical one. And this is only increasing across all verticals and countries. What's more, after the pandemic has subsided, we expect to see remote work to continue. A recent GARTNER research shows that by 2024, remote workers will comprise 30% of all employees worldwide. So businesses have a challenge of providing secure remote access to its users, both now and beyond. Today's enterprises are hyper-distributed. Going from a centralized model delivering IT and application services, things have started to become different in the new world. It starts with the beginning or the dissolution of the enterprise perimeter. With the launch of cloud-based services over a decade ago, enterprise network perimeter has been expanding. Enterprises are moving from concentrated centralized IT model to a widely distributed and fragmented model. Applications are moving closer to the edge of the network where the users are at. And in the present situation, remote work is a new normal, many going permanent, and many organizations declaring that they will have permanent remote working employees continuing to work for them and delivering their day-to-day jobs. At the branches, what we are seeing is a transition to SD-WAN, and that is continuing to happen. Branch offices are connecting to local ISPs, avoiding backhaul of internet traffic through their data centers to reduce cost, as well as improving SaaS application latency. However, this leads to a higher security risk. Multi-point solutions lead to inconsistent security policies being applied and very complex to manage. And organizations no longer have control on remote users on how and what are they connecting through. Are they secure managed devices or BYOD devices? Organizations do not have control over that. Last but not least, branch offices connecting directly to internet expose themselves to the cyber attacks, the same risks that DCs typically experience. Now, branch offices need the same level of security that is provided in the data center. So what is the solution? That is the challenge our SASE solution plans to address. So let's focus on the main pillar, remote access, which has been accelerated by COVID. First and foremost, the solution that people need to adapt has to adapt to dynamic cloud environments, and it has to have the ability to scale automatically depending on how many users are working remotely or within the offices. It needs to be user-friendly and also deployable in minutes while permitting secure connectivity from any device to any one of your services. All of this calls for being able to have ZTNA as a fundamental core in your architecture in terms of being able to deliver services. Finally, there is a solution in the market available today, a remote access solution that provides ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access, or software-defined perimeter, as some of us would call it. We no longer have to depend on users being in a specific location to provide security, such as offices or usage of specific devices, etc. We will need to think how to blacken the data center while providing granular access to applications based on user credentials. Gartner recommends that while choosing your remote access service provider or any of your SASE services, you need to favor vendors who are able to provide ZTNA as a service from the cloud. And not only that, this needs to be deployed without agents, which is very important in today's post-COVID world. And of course, the solution needs to have the capacity to scale. And these three key points are very, very important in choice of your ZTNA or a solution provider. Odo is now part of CloudGuard Connect, and this checks all the boxes that we just spoke about. So let me share a bit more about Odo. Let's talk about the three main advantages of our solution. We are a completely ZTNA remote access platform providing seamless access to your applications in a secure manner. First, it's a very user-friendly platform which provides seamless access from any device to your users. So a typical user does not have to install any client. So this is a clientless setup allowing for rapid rollout to users and providing connectivity from any device, making it easy to roll out even during our COVID lockdown times. Both managed and unmanaged devices can work directly out of the box without having to install anything and just a browser. Access is seamless, as simple as accessing a SaaS application through a dashboard or directly through bookmarks. And the users are permitted access only to the applications that they have the allowed credentials for. Let's look at a few use cases of Odo. The first, for managed devices, we can replace VPN clients and simplify and provide a more faster and a scalable solution. Second is a challenge which companies have been facing, especially during the COVID period. Organizations face the challenge of permitting users to connect from any unmanaged device over unsecured networks. Now, this is not only true for their employees, but also for their business partners and contractors. With Odo, organizations are now able to cover both employees and contractors without compromising security and the need to manage these devices. Through our clientless remote access, they are able to get their partners as well as their employees up and running in minutes without compromising security. And last but not least, for developers and DevOps, our tight integration with the cloud applications simplifies the cloud operations and automates a lot of these access policies. Zero Trust Network Access is at the core of our architecture, and let us see how this really works. The Zero Trust architecture is based on a software-defined perimeter architecture, and this service comprises of two planes. One, the control plane, which is the brain where the decisions are made, including authentication and authorization. The second is the data plane, where the data traffic flows through to the right data center, hosting the right service or an application. At the user side, there is nothing installed because it's a clientless solution. Now, the applications could be hosted either on your on-prem data center or through a VPC or any of your cloud service providers. And we are able to provide seamless access to the user to all of these applications. The way the configuration is set up is there is a need to install a simple connector, which is typically one per data center. And once installed, this provides an outbound access into our service without having the need to open up ports on your firewalls across your data centers. This naturally provides a level of DC blackening, whereby the ports on your data centers are unnecessarily not exposed to the outside world because it's all an outbound traffic going from the data center to the service in the cloud. When a user initiates a connection, all of this is very simplest and simplified. However, it's been exaggerated from an explanation point of view in this slide. The controller connects to various ID providers and is able to authenticate and understand the access for the user based on their credentials. In the case of you not having an ID provider, a local directory is equally usable. Once the user is authenticated, they are presented with a view of the applications for which they do have access. And they are presented with a view of applications for which they have access, and only those applications which those credentials allow, without exposing all of the applications which could be running or residing in your data center. The controller is in constant communication with the gateway. whereby it is able to, in real time, inform about policy changes so that the gateway can enforce all the data traffic that is passing through it to the data center. Once authenticated, the user's data flow starts through the data plane, through the gateway, and back into the data centers, thereby providing a seamless and a simple connectivity for all the users accessing their applications. Our advanced zero trust network access gives you the following advantages. One, it works on a least privilege model. So you're able to enforce least privilege access, providing selective access to applications based on credentials and dynamically at a user level. The separation of duties between the control and the data plane helps separate user authentication before being granted access to applications through the data plane. This makes it inherently more secure than a typical deployment. Third, what makes this special among other ZTNA products is that we have moved the awareness of protocol from user device to the data plane with data protocol aware proxies. We are able to provide a complete audit log for all access and other cool capabilities due to this. Last but not least, data center blackening is an advantage that you will enjoy. There are no inbound connections coming into your data center and only outbound connections, making it completely invisible for anyone trying to access your DC from the internet. Adding further to the protocol-aware proxy capabilities, as mentioned earlier, the system is able to provide a detailed log of all the accesses that are being passed through the cloud service. Also, as an option for very critical data-sensitive applications, it is possible to do a session recording of every step of the access which the user is performing on the application. This is an unprecedented level of control and security for organizations to have a view in terms of what is going on with regard to their services. Let's look at the third key area in terms of how this service is delivered. The service being a cloud, based in the cloud, we are able to deploy in minutes and provide limitless scalability. Let's take a look at how this is being deployed. So this is a three-step process in terms of being able to deploy, and can be rapidly deployed in just minutes rather than days or hours. The three-step process comprises as follows. First, a connector is installed, a Docker container essentially in your data center, and you just need one connector per data center. In case of having more than one, you would have high availability and also capabilities like load balancing. And remember, this is not an agent. This is just a single connector running once in your data center, and you require one each for each of your data center locations. And once this is set up, an outbound connection is set up back into the cloud service. And on the cloud, there are two-step process which is involved. One, connect your identity provider to set up your credentials and have access for your users. Alternatively, if such a ID provider is unavailable, you could always use your local directory services. Third, as a third and the last step, you define your application access policies in the management console, and you're all good to go. It's as simple as that. So let me switch gears now, move from Odoo in terms of talk a little bit about Checkpoint SASE vision. Ever since Gartner coined the term SASE, customers have been keen to know what Checkpoint's vision around SASE is. Why is SASE such a big buzzword today, and why are enterprises of all sizes looking to move to SASE? SASE is a framework for securing distributed enterprises with cloud-delivered security services. Because SASE looks to move security and connectivity closer to where the action is, that is, where the users and the applications reside. In this way, it lets you protect remote users and offices, securely connect to applications, and also consolidates networking and security, permitting consumption of security as a service. Checkpoint today has a very comprehensive SASE solution in the form of CloudGuard Connect. What we are doing with CloudGuard Connect is essentially unifying 11 cloud security services and products and combining it into one. And these are products and services which are proven, we are putting together or unifying together. So we are taking email security and integrating it into a service. We are enhancing access control with zero trust concepts. We are taking our Sandblast agent, our industry award-winning threat emulation and extraction capability for endpoint protection, and browser extension and making it part of SASE solution. We are unifying them for a consistent security enforcement, simplified management in an easy to consume manner. Now we talked about Odo in particular, where we are providing remote user connectivity into various services a typical organization would use. So with Odo, we spoke about connecting unmanaged clientless devices into our network. We do also have solutions where we can allow managed devices back connectivity back through CloudGuard Connect. And this supports any mobile device and endpoint, providing accelerated secure internet access with complete in-browser protection. Now, what about branch offices? With regard to branch offices, we have very strong partnership with leading SD-WAN vendors through native API integration that allows tighter integration with the SD-WAN devices. What this permits is a single-click deployment across the world, providing a single product experience while allowing our customers and flexibility choosing their SD-WAN device. So in summary, CloudGuard Connect delivers a solution that is unified with a simplified experience across our SASE services. Now, our ethos has always been with a focus on prevention and not just detection, and that continues with the CloudGuard Connect. While keeping it very user-centric, taking into account the user experience and the user environment with ZTNA model or the Zero Trust Network Access model at the core of our solution. I'm sure you're excited to know more about Odo and about our other SASE offerings. To see a demo about Odo, I would encourage you to visit our website, checkpoint.com/demos, and register for a demo. You can also learn more about our SASE products through our link shown alongside. With that, I would like to thank you very much for your time joining us today. Enjoy the rest of this event. Have a great day.